My mill lost it at my baby shower, tried to name my baby, insulted me, and got arrested after causing a scene. I'm a 29-year-old woman, married to my amazing husband, Gary. We're on cloud 9 because we're expecting our first baby. We've been together forever and tied the knot 4 years back. We started trying for a baby last year, and when we found out I was pregnant 6 months ago, we were over the moon. We've tackled life's twists and turns together, and now the news of our little one has just packed our lives with even more happiness. Each day is a step closer to meeting our little bundle, and we can hardly wait. Being pregnant has been a crazy ride with all sorts of emotions. From the moment we found out to those precious moments when our baby started kicking, it's been surreal. Gary has been my rock, attending every doctor's visit, reading parenting books with me, and even helping set up the nursery. We're in full-on baby prep mode, picking names, decorating, and planning for the future. Gary is so pumped to be a dad, and it just melts my heart to see him jumping in to help with everything. 2 months ago, we decided to spill the beans about the pregnancy to our families. We wanted to make sure we cleared the crucial first trimester and were totally sure before sharing the joy. We invited our parents, close family, and friends over for lunch, and they thought it was just a regular get-together. When they noticed my growing belly, their faces lit up with joy and surprise. My mom burst into tears, thrilled to be a grandma soon, and totally got why we had kept it under wraps. On the flip side, Gary's mom, Barbara, did not take it well. Instead of sharing in the happiness, she got mad that we had kept her in the dark and pointed fingers at me for leaving her out. Despite my efforts to explain, she stayed upset and wouldn't talk to me further. Her reaction definitely cast a shadow over what should have been a happy occasion. All night, Barbara ignored me and barely looked up from her phone, clearly letting everyone know she was not happy. She openly complained about missing out on time with her future grandchild, making the tension rise. Gary and one of his brothers noticed how heated things were getting. I reached a breaking point and stepped outside to gather myself, with my mom coming to console me until I felt ready to face everyone again. By the end of the night, Barbara made a point of saying bye to me last, and after a day of disapproving looks from my family and Gary's sister, it was obvious she was still bitter. Gary walked them to their car, where a heated argument broke out. I could hear everything standing in the foyer. Barbara kept ranting about how she couldn't believe I had the nerve to keep my pregnancy a secret, and that I didn't consider family. Gary stayed calm and told her that it was a decision we both made to wait until everything was fine before sharing the news. But Barbara wasn't having it. She insisted she should have been told right away and blamed me entirely. That's when Gary, who had kept his cool until then, snapped. He told her that he was just as much a part of the decision, so if she was pointing fingers, she should point them at both of us. He told her it's time to let it go and stop overreacting. Barbara, however, kept insisting he should open his eyes, not backing down from her stance. So, here's the scoop. My husband let me handle everything, and, honestly, his mom thought she should have been the first to hear if she was becoming a grandma. My husband stood firm, told her to stop taking it out on me, and asked her to cool off before she said something she'd regret. Barbara stormed off, leaving him annoyed and bummed about her reaction. I was in tears, feeling cut by her harsh words, and didn't realize it until Gary, my husband, noticed and comforted me, guiding me back inside. My parents, sensing the drama, kindly gave us space until I got it together. But Barbara wasn't done. Later, she messaged me, and my anxiety shot up. Her message was harsh. She said she was deeply disappointed and couldn't forgive me for keeping her out of the loop about her grandchild. She accused me of dividing her from her son, which left me feeling a mix of anger and hurt. When I showed Gary, he was really upset and couldn't believe how she blamed me. He called her, telling her to stop with the negative messages or he'd cut her off. This seemed to shake her up. Suddenly, she suggested that she'd forgive us if we let her throw a baby shower. This unexpected twist left us both wondering about her real motives. To me, it felt like she was trying to regain control, not truly making peace. Despite my doubts, Gary wanted to find a way to smooth things over and thought letting her host the shower might help. I told Gary I was worried this would just encourage her behavior, but he hoped it'd help mend things before the baby arrived. I reluctantly agreed, and he let her know she could plan it. She was thrilled and thanked us, but I assumed she'd at least ask for my input on the plans. With the event a month away, I expected more details soon. However, Barbara went full rogue, buying decorations and planning everything without consulting anyone, including me. When my mom reached out, she was told it would all be a surprise for me. I felt sidelined and frustrated as this celebration fell out of my hands. When my baby shower day came, it was a mix of excitement and awkwardness. I arrived at the venue with my friends, ready to celebrate. But I was taken aback by the decorations Barbara picked, Brown and beige balloons everywhere and a strange safari theme that clashed with what I imagined, soft pastels and a gentle vibe. The tension spiked when I saw a huge banner with a collage of my husband's baby pics and Barbara. Everyone was staring. So, get this, we were thrown for a loop at my baby shower when my mother-in-law decided it was a great idea to put up pictures of my husband from when he was a baby. Talk about confusing. I gave her a look like, what is going on? And she just laughed it off, saying she expected our baby to look just like him and thought he was such a cute kid that she had to show everyone. Meanwhile, I was standing there trying to figure out if she'd completely lost it. It was pretty obvious she was more focused on reminiscing about her own mom days than on the fact that we had a baby on the way. As more people showed up, they all had that what's going on look on their faces. The room was decked out in brown and beige balloons with this massive banner flaunting my husband and his mom, which wasn't at all the classy, fun vibe I was hoping for. I kept exchanging these sorry about this glances with my friends, who were clearly on the same page. And then my mom walked in, her eyes going wide as she took in the awkward decor. Her gaze landed on the banner, and you could see the disbelief at how bold my mother-in-law was to make it all about my husband instead of our baby. In a bold move, my mom stormed over to the banner, snatched it down, and the room fell dead silent. Everyone's eyes were glued to her as she carted off the intrusive display. I felt this wave of gratitude for my mom standing by me. But of course, my mother-in-law was not impressed. She spotted my mom tossing the banner in the trash and asked in a huff what she thought she was doing. My mom, totally unfazed, calmly told her this was supposed to be about me and my baby, not about her personal glory. The guests around us were kind of taken aback by this unexpected showdown. My mother-in-law tried to pull focus back to herself, claiming the banner was a special touch to highlight the family and the event she put together. She even tried to act like it was crucial everyone saw how adorable my husband was as a kid. My mom wasn't backing down though, reminding her that she'd practically begged to host this shower after not being so cool the last time. After that, the party kept rolling, though I was doing my best to focus on the good vibes from friends and family, despite the awkwardness hanging around. I thought we were finished with surprises from my mother-in-law, who seemed to be hitting the drinks a bit too much for a baby shower, but there wasn't much I could do about it. We played some party games, and the crowd slowly started to relax and have fun again. Then came the gift giving. I was really touched by the thoughtful presents for my baby until my mother-in-law handed me this massive gift box with a ridiculous grin. The room went quiet again, and I felt a mix of embarrassment and annoyance. My mom shot her a look, and everyone else was just exchanging these awkward glances, clearly not sure how to handle it. Doing my best to keep the peace, I forced a smile and thanked her, though I was resisting the urge to roll my eyes hard. Things got even crazier during the cake cutting. My mother-in-law had this huge, over-the-top cake made and made sure everyone knew it by clinking her glass. We all turned to her, and she did the big reveal. She'd picked out the perfect name for our little girl. I was stunned and a bit miffed that she assumed she had the right to name our baby. Trying to keep things chill, I politely told her that my husband and I wanted to choose the name together, which was a decision for us as future parents. So, get this. My mother-in-law, let's call her Barbara, was not having it at all when it came to naming our baby. She was dead set on her perfect name choice and said that if I was a decent daughter-in-law, I'd just go along with it because she'd splurged so much on the baby shower. I was floored by how entitled she was acting. I made it clear that only my husband and I had the say in naming our kid, no matter who threw the shower. That's when Barbara lost it and started yelling at me in front of everybody, calling me disrespectful and saying I should be more grateful for everything she's done. She even took a jab at my upbringing, saying I should be thanking her instead of denying her the right to name the baby. Things got heated as she started pointing fingers right in my face. My mom swooped in, literally standing between us as a shield. But Barbara just kept going, claiming she was the real mom of my baby because she birthed my husband and he provided the sperm. Her words were seriously gross. Even with my mom trying to calm her down, Barbara just got more irate, throwing insults my way and saying my mom did a lousy job raising me. It was obvious she'd had too much to drink, and reasoning with her was a lost cause. The situation spiraled out of control, making everyone uncomfortable. Realizing things were getting out of hand, I decided I'd had enough humiliation and made a move to leave with the gifts my friends had brought. But no, Barbara, in her drunken fury, snatched the gifts out of my hand and threw them on the ground, shouting that I was ungrateful and trying to come between her and her son. The atmosphere got super tense and people started recording the whole fiasco. To try and restore some peace, I asked a close friend to kindly get people to leave. Meanwhile, Barbara kept throwing nasty accusations my way, creating a huge scene that no one expected at what was supposed to be a happy occasion. Frustrated and feeling backed into a corner, I did the last thing I wanted to do, I called the cops. Yeah, you read that right. I had to get the police involved at my own baby shower because of Barbara's toxicity. When the officers arrived, Barbara put on a full drama show, pointing fingers at me and acting like I orchestrated the chaos. Thankfully, the officers were understanding and tried talking some sense into her. But Barbara, still drunk, resisted them and even started yelling at the police, which obviously backfired on her. Things got so bad that she ended up getting arrested right then and there. My mom, my close friends, and I left the whole ordeal shaken up and trying to process what the heck just happened. Since then, my husband and I have been dealing with the aftermath. Barbara's on a massive guilt trip, playing the victim, and even getting sympathy from some family members who weren't at the shower since they live out of town. My husband, while he gets why I called the cops, thinks maybe I overreacted a bit. He reckons I could have called him or his dad instead. So, Reddit, am I the jerk here for calling the cops on my mother-in-law for ruining my baby shower and acting like she was the baby's real mom? Update, I'm blown away by all the support I got after sharing my baby shower story. Thanks to everyone for backing me on calling the cops. I'd never seen Barbara go off like that before. I usually only see her during holidays and don't spend much time around her. The level of aggression she showed at the shower genuinely freaked me out, especially thinking about my unborn baby's safety. Every guest who was there has reached out to support me, and a few have even shared videos of the entire mess, which I plan to show my husband. I'm gearing up to have a serious talk with him this weekend about how we move forward with his mom. Update 2, I showed the videos to my husband. We had our sit down to really go over everything that went down. I broke it all down for him, from how his mom's behavior snowballed to the craziness at the shower. I described the shouting, accusations, and weird gifts she gave. Watching the videos, he was visibly shocked. It was like a reality check for him, confronting just how over the top his mom's actions were. He sincerely apologized to me for not grasping how serious the situation was and acknowledged that calling the cops was the right move. Wow, I had no clue things had gotten this rough. I'm really sorry you had to deal with all of that. Gary was truly surprised and upset, as he never thought his mom could act this way. He told me he's totally on my side, and he's all about making sure I'm safe and well, especially with the baby on the way. We talked about how his mom's need to control and be acknowledged kind of ruined what should have been a happy time. Gary was coming to terms with how his mom's actions were just too much and he shared his worries about her behavior. After how she acted in front of everyone, I told him I was done with her. He can keep in touch if he wants, but as for me and our baby, we're staying out of her life unless she gets some help to work on herself. Hearing this, Gary was totally on the same page, saying what his mom did was beyond messed up and he was ready to cut her off too. I told him he didn't have to do that, but he insisted that since she disrespected me, she didn't deserve a place in our lives. He realized her behavior was about more than just the baby shower, it was a buildup of long-standing issues. Moving forward, Gary promised to let his mom know it was his decision to cut ties and warn her that if she showed up uninvited trying to come back into our lives, I'd have no choice but to call the cops. Update 3, it's been a month since I last filled you all in. To everyone asking, the baby and I are doing fine. I can't wait to meet our little one soon. Since the last update, we've stopped all contact with Barbara. Gary talked with his parents, and his dad assured him he'd make sure Barbara understood our boundaries. Life's been way more peaceful and drama-free without that constant tension. Now, Gary and I can focus on getting ready for our baby's arrival without Barbara's shadow hanging over us. Our friends and family have been amazing, lending tons of support. Even some family members who didn't initially know how bad things were have stepped up after seeing those shocking baby shower videos make the rounds. This whole ordeal has definitely made us stronger as a couple and showed us how important it is to face challenges together. Cutting ties with Barbara wasn't easy, but it turned out to be the right move for us. While we're still dealing with some obstacles, we're hopeful about the changes this decision has brought. As we count down to meeting our little one, we're committed to creating a loving, supportive environment for our family.